Welcome back to another ERLC video, ModernBlox Squad. In today's video, we will be talking about my opinion on the different guns in Liberty County, and we will be using the tier list maker. So if you guys do want to support the channel, and if you do enjoy the video, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe. But let's go ahead and get right on into it. Alright, so as you can see here, we have our ERLC gun tier list, and we have 5 different categories. We have the elite category, the very good category, the good category, the bad category, and the horrible category. So we have our 5 different categories, and we have every single gun in the game as of right now. And we will start off with the Beretta M9. So the price is $900 in-game cash. The magazine size is 16 rounds. The damage is 8 per bullet, and then the fire rate is semi-automatic. So I actually like the damage is not that good, especially since the M14, I mean, it costs more. It's like $2,000, but it has the same magazine size and has 17 damage, and it is also semi. So I'm gonna put the Beretta M9, and especially since the recoil isn't too bad in my opinion, I'm gonna put it in the, I don't know, I think I'll go with the good category, because pistols aren't too bad. They don't have too bad recoil. The M1911 though, it's pretty expensive, but it does have better damage. However, the only downside is the magazine capacity, which is 8. But let's go ahead and move on to the M14 here. So here we go, we have the M14. And the price is $2,000 in-game cash, and just like I said earlier, the magazine size is 16 rounds, and the damage is 17 per bullet, and then the fire rate is semi-automatic. So for the M14, I kind of like it, because it has the same magazine capacity as the Beretta M9, and the damage is 17. However, it costs a lot more than the Beretta M9, and personally, I would actually go probably with the Beretta M9. It doesn't really tell you the fire rates except that it's semi, but on our automatic guns it does tell us the fire rate in game. But I think the Beretta M9 shoots a bit faster, so I'm going to put the M14 on, I don't know, because it's not terrible, but it does cost more than the Beretta, so I'm going to put it in bad, just because it's not a gun that I would buy and go around robbing with in the game, because it's just not very good. But let's move to the Colt M1911, which is $1,200 in-game cash. The magazine capacity is 8 rounds. The damage is 15 rounds, not 15 rounds, the damage is 15 per each bullet, and the fire rate is obviously semi since it is a pistol. So the only downside to this is really is the magazine capacity, or the magazine size, because it's like around the same price as the Beretta M9. So I'm gonna put it as the same as the Beretta M9, or as the same as the M14 here, just because the damage is actually worse than the M14, yet it does cost less, but the magazine size is a lot less than the M14. And again, the M14 damage is a lot more, but it does cost more money. So basically, the more the gun costs, the better the damage, but there's always going to be a downside to every single gun in the game, just like in real life. So next here we have the AK-47. It is $2,250 in-game cash. The magazine size is 31 rounds, and the damage is 15 per round here. And we have 8 rounds a second for the fire rate, so since this is an automatic gun, it does tell us how many rounds it is. And it's really just, it has the same damage as the M1911, obviously a bigger capacity, a bigger round capacity in the magazine. However, it does cost more, and like I said, automatic guns will cost more. But it has 8 rounds a second, which I'm pretty sure that, well, not pretty sure, I am for sure, it is a lot more than the M1911, especially for the magazine capacity here. So I'm going to actually put the AK-47 in the very good section, just because it is automatic. It has actually not too bad damage. There's better guns out there, but I'm just going to put it in the very good part for this video. Let's move on to the Remington 870 now, which is $1,900 in-game cash. The The magazine size is 8 rounds, and the damage is 25 bullet. Fire rate is semi. So the only thing that I don't like about the shotgun is that it's a shotgun, because yes, it has really good damage, the most we've seen so far in the list that I've got. However, you gotta land your shots, and you gotta be up close. You can't snipe anybody or be far away. You gotta be up close. So I'm actually gonna put this in the bad section, especially because the model looks like it's from the Civil War, and it just looks really old. But we're not focusing on models right now. Let's just focus on the price here. So it's not too expensive. Obviously the AK-47 or the M14 is more expensive, but they both have less damage, but you don't have to be close up to fire them, and that's my only thing. You gotta be close up with the shotgun. I don't really like getting close with the cops if I'm wanted. Yeah, it doesn't work very well, so I'm gonna keep that in the bad section. And let's move on to the Remington Msr, which is a Game Pass here, but is $2,500 in-game cash. And the magazine size is 5 bullets, so it's not many, but the damage is 70 per round, and that is actually a lot. And obviously the fire rate is semi-automatic here. So I really like the Remington Msr, however it's not something that I would go around on a robbing spree with in Liberty County. It is a lot of money. It's the most money so far that we've gotten for all the guns that I've gotten so far, but the magazine size is really just not the best, especially the reserve ammo. I don't know the exact number, but I know it's not a lot. So I'm actually going to put the Remington Msr over here in the good category, or actually I'll put it in the very good category just because of its damage, and I don't think it fires that fast, but if you can land your shots, it's a really good gun, especially for the damage. But let's go ahead and move on to the PPSH-41, which is $1,900 in-game cash, and this is another Game Pass gun. The magazine size is 71 rounds. Damage is 5 per round. Fire rate is 8 rounds a second. So we have the same fire rate as the AK-47. We have a better magazine capacity than the AK-47. However, the damage, we got 5 damage a bullet. Yet the AK-47 is 15 damage per bullet and the same fire rate. And this gun is also $1,900. AK-47 is $2,250. So I'm actually gonna put the PPSH down in the horrible section, just because yes, it has good fire rate, just the same as the AK-47. It has good magazine size, but 5 bullets or 5 damage per bullet just isn't enough, I don't think. Because if you don't land all your shots, you're going to be going through a lot of ammo, and it's going to waste a lot of time, so I don't really like it. Next, let's move on to the Scorpion here, which is $1,400 in-game cash. The magazine size is 20 rounds per magazine, and the damage is 7 per round here, and the fire rate is 16 rounds a second. So I really like this gun. I used to use it a lot, actually. It's not too pricey, especially for the amount of cash you earn in the game, and the magazine size actually isn't too bad. Of course, the AK-47 and the PPSH-41 definitely have a lot more magazine capacity, but besides the PPSH-41 that has 5 damage a bullet, the Scorpion has 7 damage a bullet and 16 rounds a second, which is a lot more than the PPSH-41. If the PPSH-41 had 16 rounds a second with 5 damage per bullet, I would definitely put it in a higher category, but it doesn't. So Scorpion, I actually really like the Scorpion. It has good damage, not that high, but I mean for the 16 rounds a second, that's actually pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the good category by the Beretta M9. And let's go ahead and move on to the Colt Python, which is a Game Pass gun, and has $1,250 in-game cash, which is it's pretty expensive for a revolver, especially for IRL prices, which I know Liberty County isn't based off of in real life prices, but it's pretty expensive for a revolver. The magazine size is only 6, which is not much, but it is a revolver. However, the damage is 27, which is the most we've seen besides the Remington Msr here. The fire rate is obviously semi-automatic since it is a revolver, but for the damage, I mean 27 is a lot, but for 6 bullets, it isn't much, especially if you can't land your shots. And think about it, you're running from cops, you're jumping up and down, you're trying to reload, and your reserve ammo is not that much. So I'm actually going to put this in the horrible category because it does have good damage, but it's just not enough reserve ammo, especially since you only have 6 bullets in the gun. And next, let's go on to the M249 Machine Gun. It is $2,500 in-game cash, and this is a Game Pass gun. However, the magazine size is actually 120 rounds. The damage is 12, and it's 11 rounds a second. So it's a lot less rounds per second than the Scorpion, as you can see, which has 16 rounds per second. However, I love the M249, and I've gotten killed multiple times with it. Doesn't take long, especially if you have a gun that does more damage but has less fire rate or less ammo capacity. The M249, I've always loved it, always used it. This is going to go in the elite category because I have always loved it, and I always will. It's just a great gun. But let's go ahead, move down to the Tech 9, which I've used ever since it has really come out, until they added the Chris Vector and Lmt L129a1, which I'll talk about later. But the Tech 9 is $1,400 in-game cash here, and it has 32 bullets in its magazine capacity, which is actually a lot for a submachine gun that small. And it also has a damage of 8 per bullet, and it is 12 rounds per second. I've used this so many times, and I just love it so much. The capacity, the ammo capacity, really good. Reserve ammo is also really good. And the damage is actually pretty good considering it's a 12 rounds per second. And the price isn't too pricey, so I'm actually going to put the Tech 9 in the very good category because it has low recoil, at least for me, and I really love it. Now let's go ahead and move on to Desert Eagle, which is $1,300 in-game cash. And the magazine size is at 7 rounds, which actually is not that much. And then we have the damage, which is 25, and I know this is a 50 caliber gun here, so one blow to the head, you're gone. Liberty County, what were you thinking? I mean, your physics just really aren't realistic, but this is obviously semi-automatic since it is a pistol, and I actually don't like it because the reserve ammo isn't that much, especially for only 7 rounds in the magazine. And like I said just a few seconds ago, if you're gonna have a 50 caliber pistol in the game, then one shot to the head, you should be dead. It shouldn't take multiple shots. So I'm gonna put this in the horrible section just because the capacity and the damage is just not worth it. I would not buy it. But let's go ahead and move on to the Lmt L129a1. I think that's how you pronounce it. But this is $2,300 in-game cash. The magazine size is 20 rounds, and the damage is 13 per bullet. And is semi-automatic. It's not an automatic gun, it is semi. I actually really like this gun. I've used it a lot. I like that it's not automatic just because of the recoil perspective, but it's just I've actually used it a lot, and I've killed a lot of players with it. I really like it. The damage isn't the best, but if you can like land your shots, especially headshots or body shots, if you can land those, then for 20 rounds it's pretty good. But the reserve ammo is not a lot, so you're gonna need to go to the gun store a lot or buy the extra round gear so that you can equip that and get more ammo. But I'm gonna put the LMT in probably the good section just because I really like it, and the damage isn't too bad for if you can land your shots. And now let's talk about the last gun I have on my list, which is the Chris Vector Smg. It is $2,400 in-game cash, and the magazine size is 25 rounds and the damage is 6 rounds. However, we have the highest fire rate here, which is 20 rounds a second. The only reason why I do not like this gun is because it is literally like fire rate is just so much, the recoil is just so much. You cannot shoot over a not too long of a distance, but even close range it's hard to hit your shots. Like, I've jumped out of a car when a cop has pulled me over in the game in a public server, and it takes me a few magazines to actually finish them just because the recoil is just so much, you can't really land your shots. So I'm actually going to go ahead and put it in the bad section because the fire rate is great, damage is not too good, but the magazine capacity isn't too bad. And last but not least, I do not have this on my actual chart here, but the Lumat Revolver, however you say it, this was given to players who were paid access users, and a lot of you aren't. That is okay. But I'm going to put this on the horrible side because it looks like it's from the Civil War. I don't know the exact damage, and I don't know the price, but it was only given to players. I think it's free for players that were paid access, but it's really bad. So if you're a paid access user, don't use the gun because it's really bad. Well, ModernBlox Squad, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, go ahead, smash the like button and subscribe. Go join my group and Discord server, both those linked down below in the description. But let me know if you guys want me to do a gun tier list on the police guns, because I can do that, or if you want me to do a tier list on the different tools for the DOT team, fire department, or the police department. Go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll be catching you guys in the next one. See ya.